Hello, hello. Good morning. Is it Happy Tuesday? It's Happy Tuesday morning or Happy Tuesday afternoon or evening if you're watching this later. When I told my sweetheart what our topic is for today, he said, well, that's not a great way to start the day talking about grief. And it is a great way. It's always a good thing to acknowledge what's going on the inside, to acknowledge any change, to acknowledge any pain, because through the acknowledgement, that's where the release comes. It's when we try and suppress, like what we were talking about yesterday, suppressing any emotion, especially anger, will cause anxiety. Remember that? Well, suppressing, our grief and suppressing our sadness, suppressing anything will lead to dysfunction, okay? Either in our circumstances and or in our body mind. And so, and there's always help available, to us when there are big changes. And that's the other thing that I love about spending this time together, is that there is all of this help and love, available to you and to me, and that we have the ability to harness that energy because this is life energy. And so even when we're feeling alone, we are never alone, never, ever. So grief's been coming up a lot. I've had some students come recently to a recent class because of loss, and meditation and prayer is a wonderful way to heal the grief. And grief will come, like I wrote in the little thing there, it can come from a change in your career, an unexpected change. It can come, I remember when my youngest daughter left grade school, and I felt so sad, and I was so surprised, my baby, when she went on, because it was the end of, the grade school years. They're so good. It's hard, but it's so good. It's a lot different than the middle school and high school years. And I felt this pang of sadness and grief and loss, and then looking forward to what is yet to come. So it can come from, empty nest. It can come from any significant change where we feel lost. And I don't want you to feel ashamed that you feel sad because there's been a change in your life and your circumstances, or think it's silly or try and dismiss it, because we live in a culture that doesn't know how to embrace grief. And so this has been my experience. This morning, I really went back and thought about what I needed when I was going through my divorce, and I moved in with my parents, and my mother died unexpectedly. And it was just this complete and total uproar. And such a horrible, horrible experience. And I thought about what I needed at that time, and the silence, I needed some time alone. And there was something that I understood intuitively, that the grief was changing. It was changing me. And this is the important message I want you to get from today. And then I'm going to give you how to move out of the grief when you're ready. Grief is an alchemical process. And what that means is that when you lean into it and just accept that it's there, it works in alchemy on the personality and on the spirit in a very positive way. There were things that I thought I understood about life. I had been teaching for a long time, and having gone through the end of my marriage and then losing my mother, who was also my best friend, there were things that I didn't understand. And through the grief process, I learned to have so much more compassion for myself and for others. Because within the grief, there's anger, there's frustration, there's doubt, there's all kinds of other emotions that come up with it. And if you are going through a significant change, or if you've lost someone, a beloved pet, a friend, a parent, a lover, if you've had a significant change in your circumstances, just know that just being silent with it and acknowledging it, that there is a deepening that is happening. And it is unfortunate that we have to go through this pain in order for that to happen. And that's life, you know, I mean, that's just what we signed up for when we came here. I mean, even being a mom, and I see my children also went through all of this, and I see that pain is part of their experience. Now, here's where we get stuck. We get stuck when the grief becomes, when it defines who we are. Instead of having the loss be an event that happened, it defines that this happened to me. And because this happened, this is who I am. Now, that's ego consciousness. And when it defines us, it's hard for us to move beyond it. Yes? Because now I'm going to make an analogy, and it's going to sound a little trite, but we all have known people who are totally self-identified with their job. And when they lose their job, it's like they don't know who they are anymore. It's a very similar thing with the grief, that somehow the grief becomes part of our character, becomes part of who we think we are. And it's really hard to, good morning, it's really hard to move beyond it when it's part of who we are. So I just want you, so there's this balance between knowing that it is an alchemical process and that it's working on us, it's working for us, we're moving through it. That's actually a meditation, because we are watching the grief instead of saying, this is who I am. Yes? Now, how do we move out of the grief? There will come a point where we're in stillness, and then we need vision. There is always a tomorrow. When I was going through all of my stuff, I had a vision board, and every morning I would wake up and it would be the first thing that I saw, because I needed a vision. Without the vision, I would have stayed stuck in the grief. Does this make sense? So there is this saying that I think it's a Bible verse, without a vision, the people will perish. Without a vision, it's hard for us to move out of that state. So we need a vision, and we need courage. Now, when the grief first happens, when the loss first happens, the first thing that goes on in your mind is, this is not what I had planned. Life has thrown me a curveball. The vision that I had for myself is now gone. And so if you're in that state, that's totally okay. You don't have to force the vision because you're in that state of grief. Yes? And at some point, we need to know there's a new dawn coming. There is a new vision. There is a new life. I am the life that is the foundation of the world, is the life that I am. And this life is powerful. And you have access to it, yes? And so we have that vision, and then we have courage to follow the new vision. Because humans, we don't like change. Just, you don't have to be a psychic to know that. Humans, we don't like change. And so part of the movement out of grief is to accept that the change is here. And now there's a new vision, and there's a new life that will be different. That will be different, and it can still be glorious. Yes? Yes, I know. Isn't this good stuff? See, this is a good way to start the morning. It's a good way to start the week. Hope you're having a good morning. So I found this, of course, beautiful prayer from my prayer book with Ernest Holmes, and it's called The Dawn Has Come. Isn't that perfect, right? Out of the darkness of the long night, the dawn has come. I might tear up a little bit. I rise to meet the new day filled with confidence and strength. Everybody take a deep breath. I arise and go forth into the dawn, inspired and refreshed by the living spirit within me. O day, you shall never die. The sun shall never set upon your perfect glory. Isn't this so good? For the lamp of the soul has been rekindled with the oil of faith. And love has cleansed the windows of life in the spirit of gladness. They shall never grow dim with fear, for perfect love casteth out all fear. Let's take another deep breath. Sigh it out. I am renewed in strength through knowing good. My light has come. Isn't that a wonderful prayer? I love Ernest Holmes. Out of the darkness of the long night, the dawn has come. Always, always, always. Always, always, always. So if you or someone you know is going through a really hard time right now and a change, just know for them, the dawn always comes. Love casts out all fear. And you just love them up. This is the other thing I wanted to share with you. I didn't grieve by myself. I had really good friends. People surprised me that just showed up and would just text me, is there anything I can do for you? So don't stay isolated. Yes? Find a support group. Reach out to your friends. Go to your spiritual center. But grief we also need as humans, we need that loving support. And if you have a friend that's going through this, or even if your child is going through something, just know the dawn is coming for them and just love them up. Just love them up. You guys ready for your meditation? Yes, we are ready for our meditation. This is good stuff. Feet flat on the floor, eyes closed, chin tilted slightly down so that the back of your neck is nice and long. And let's take 3 ha breaths together. Everybody inhale and exhale. Ooh, that feels good. Inhaling and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And we're pulling down that beautiful light. The light of the dawn that's moving into the crown of our heads, moving down the length of the spine and down to the bottoms of your feet. Allow the light of the dawn to just fill your inner body. And so the light is gold and pink and orange. It's just beautiful. And the light fills your fingertips, fills the entire body, spills out around you. And it's like you are the sun, just filled with this light of hope and faith. And with each breath, the light intensifies, but this light is also gentle. It's gentle, it's loving, it's understanding. It's a space for us to lean into so you can relax into the light. And so this is what we are knowing. We are knowing that out of the darkness, the dawn always comes. And with that light comes a vision. And so Source, beloved Source, we ask for the courage to step into a new life. We ask for healing of our broken hearts, knowing that this is the process of being alive. And on the other side of the sadness of the grief is life. And because we are the hero in our own story, we do not turn away from the challenge, but we accept it. We accept it as we did before we incarnated, and we accept it now. And we move forward even with shaky legs because we know that there is a power greater than any fear, than any challenge that rises up through us and goes out before us, making the way clear. And so we accept a new vision and we shake off the past and we shake off the guilt. We move through the grief in the appropriate time. And we are so grateful. We are so grateful for the feeling of power, for this feeling of love, and for our faith. Thank you for sending your angels to guide us. Thank you for this beautiful new day. Thank you for this time together. Thank you for all the helpers that you are sending to us right now. Thank you. Everybody take a nice deep inhale and just breathe into that beautiful light. Breathe into your courage. You are the hero in your own story. Just breathe into that. You are beautiful and brave. Take another nice, long, deep breath and sigh it out, coming all the way back to the room. And give yourself a hug. Give yourself some love today. Don't just hug yourself. Give yourself some love. Give yourself another hug. And take that into your day, the dawn and the vision. One of the things that came up for me in the meditation, in the prayer, is that sometimes there's some guilt associated with moving on. It's one of the reasons why we get stuck. If that's you, I want you to go back into the videos, because we did a guilt release last week, and it was really, really powerful. So we don't need to carry that around. That's not what you're made for. And I love this idea of being the hero in our own story, and heroes have challenges. And if you fall down, you just keep getting right back up. Okay, have a beautiful day, and I will see you here tomorrow at 6 a.m. Namaste.